This is Pod Populi.
Podcast for the people.
The Great Love Debate. It's the Great Love Debate.
The Great Love Debate. It's the Great Love Debate.
Hi again, everyone. It's Brian Howie. Welcome to the Great Love Debate, the world's #1 dating and relationship podcast. Since 2015, we are here in the fine studios of Pod Populi, Podcast for the People, in Boca Raton, Florida. And it's a very, very nice day in Boca Raton, Florida. It's not always a nice day in Boca Raton, Florida. There's a lot of critters. There's a lot of things and trees that can fall on your head. It's like Jurassic Park down in South Florida. But we are here today, and it is good. So in this very studio, about a week ago, one of the people who was podcasting in here prior to me was leaving the studio, and another one of the podcasters, a woman, looked at that woman leave, and she said, "Oh my God, she's such a goddamn fox." And I said, first of all, that's such a good word. It's such a good old school compliment. Fox it's like a relic from the 70s, but I can't imagine anybody would object to it. However, I thought, God, there's such freedom that woman could say it about her, and she probably could have said it to her without worrying about the repercussions of saying it at all. And it's not really about how the woman would have received it. I assume she would have been very flattered by it. I think every woman who is a goddamn fox should be happy that somebody noticed that she was a goddamn fox. But that brought me to what I want to talk about today. People ask me all the time, like, what is different about dating, or what's a challenge in dating, or is online dating a problem with dating? Here's what one of the biggest and most discussed and underrated challenges is when it comes to love dating relationships in 2022, which we're recording this. And again, if you're listening to this in 2024, catch up. You got about 100 episodes to catch up on. But one of the problem is we have had removed, us, me, the guys, the fellas, the ability and the privilege of complimenting a woman. There's a whole lot of, qualifiers and nuances to it, but just flat out saying, God, she looks good, you look good, man, all of that has been taken away from the guys. It's certainly been taken out of the workplace, and we will get to that in a second. But just the ability to go up to some strange woman, and she might even be that strange, a woman you did not prior know at Walmart, and say, you look fantastic, which is not anything sexual or everything, or like, you know what, you look amazing, or something like that, has been taken away from the men. I made a comment on here a few weeks ago that I thought rather than putting pronouns in our signature lines, which doesn't do anybody a lot of good except tell us the obvious, women should put their preferred compliments in their signature line. It should be like, my name is Mary, here's my phone number, hot, pretty, beautiful. Like, those are my preferred ones. So because I want to talk about all things goddamn fox, I actually lured in a couple of friends of mine who are goddamn foxes. And I don't know how they're going to even react to this whole discussion, but I need their opinion. I had a dude who was coming in here today, but he kind of wimped out. So typical. I've got Eleni and I've got Kayla here. Say hi.
Hi. Thanks for having us.
One is Southern and one, her heritage is Greek. And those are different in terms of how they accept the compliments, which we will get in a second. Kayla has been on this show, the podcast before. She's been on our stage a couple times.
I have.
You have. And you have been in our audience at least once.
I have.
Okay.
I dragged her. Yes.
Please speak into the microphone.
I'm so sorry.
Okay.
My apologies.
Do you guys understand that it's not as easy as it was 5-10 years ago to comment on your appearance because there's pushback? And there's pushback in a way that not only are you not accepting it, you're rejecting it and saying, why would you lead with that? And we're not leading with that as an end game. We're saying this is a starting point to get somewhere with a conversation. And that somewhere doesn't even have to be anything beyond a conversation. But the only thing we know about you in a moment is how you look. We don't know your character. We don't know your occupation. We don't know your morals. We don't know anything. So we're all looking for a starting point where we're going to sort of engage with each other.
Right.
Hey, you look great.
Thank you.
Is that so bad? No, this was general, but you could take it too. But you're aware of it is a challenge for the dudes now, that it's been sort of like, don't say that, don't even think it.
Because it's hard to believe it, right?
That's your problem.
Exactly.
Though. If it's hard to believe it, that is a woman insecurity. You guys go work that on therapy.
Absolutely.
But I'm talking about his, not say a right to say it, but more of a desire to say it, to go up to you and say the first thing in his mind that, let's take hot off the table. Let's put that one aside because that does kind of have
like a frat boy.
sexy compliment. But pretty, beautiful, the aforementioned fox, amazing, fantastic, gorgeous, all of those things, they can't say any of them to a whole big percentage of the women anymore, and that's a problem. So what would you like us to do, Lenny?
I don't agree with that. I think, I mean, and here we are.
You don't agree with what I'm saying, or you agree that they can't?
I think they can. I think they do. I think they can. I think, what is social media? Social media relies on, photography, videography. It revolves around, the aesthetic, what people look like, what everything, how it's presented.
I get it. I agree. You're right. She's leading with the hot. You want me to notice. You don't want me to say anything about it. Because I brought this up at our show in Dallas a couple weeks ago. And I always am fighting the battle of, well, what would you like these guys to say as an opening line? And some women said, well, just compliment us. And women were like, no. They screamed no. And this is Dallas women who are very appearance. Yeah. They're like, don't lead with that. And I'm saying that mostly the attractive women, they know they're pretty, so they're like, I crave the other stuff. I crave the smart and the depth and whatever. He doesn't know anything about that.
Right.
All he knows is in a moment you caught his eye, shiny lure, you're a fish, and he's like, wow, you really are. That's an amazing smile. And a big percentage of the women, and you can say we're not those women, but you have to be aware that because a big percentage of the women are like that the guys that you want to say that to you are less likely to do so, and that hurts you.
Yeah. I mean, actually, I don't know where this was Cinco de Mayo, right? We were at the bar,
yes.
And she walked off for some odd reason. And this guy, it was just very good about what he did. He walked up behind me. He goes, you see my heart monitor? And it was literally like, I guess high or something like that.
Was he 90?
No. We are in Boca. No, he was, early 40s. And I was like, that is such, and we started chatting, happened to be in the same industry, but it was such a good, unique way.
You set off my heart monitor?
Yeah. He's like, look what you did in my heart, like my heart is what he said.
Is it like an Apple Watch?
Yeah.
Can you rig that? That is a good line.
I don't know if you can rig it or not, but I didn't think about it. I have no idea.
But what a different way to approach somebody.
Yeah.
It's not.
It took some creativity.
Yes. How many times did he use it?
Who knows? Probably 9 other times.
And maybe that's what women think.
The group of women who complain the most are the women who hear it too much and the women who don't hear it at all. Okay? That they don't want this to be part of the conversation. But my point is that if the guys have to think twice and they're already too hesitant, and I'm like, guys, go for it. Say whatever you want. Take hot out of it. And some women at our show in Dallas that I said, somebody said, don't ever call me pretty. That's who you take to lunch with your mom. Beautiful. You don't know me well enough to call me beautiful. So then it's even like the ones who want to compliment, there's all sorts of qualifiers in that. But taking the guys away, because Mediterranean lass here, you guys go on these Italian trips to Tuscany and you eat that shit up when the European men are like, oh, I love you. Oh, you're so beautiful. Come to me. They love it. And 100%. We can't do the same thing in Chicago or Detroit or Phoenix, that somehow the behavior that you guys want out of the men is somehow not acceptable here, when it's the same thing that you pay $2,000 to go for a week with your girlfriends and all you want is the mamacitas. You can see why the guys are like, you know what, I'm just going to play PlayStation.
Were you in Greece with us? How do you know all that happened?
Because I've traveled.
Europeans love to love. I mean, we do.
They love to love, but they're also fearless in their expression of love.
But why should that stop you? As a man, shoot your shot, right? Like, everyone talks about that.
I do agree.
And same with compliments. I mean, yeah, maybe this girl's heard it too much and she's jaded, and maybe she's just insecure and that's not enough for her. But everyone else, like...
I agree, but to get to the mindset of the man... We probably don't want to date the one who's going to be offended by your compliment. My point is, because there's such a big percentage of the women who are offended by the comment, the guy might either have a bad experience or a bad reaction, and then he's going to be a beat more hesitant.
It's discouraging.
And these men it's discouraging that he's like, you know what? And take away the workplace. It sucks that you can't come and be like, did you get your hair done? You look awesome.
Yeah.
I can't. I'm going to get fired. That's an HR violation now.
You can in real estate.
Hey, you can't maybe you can in real life, but you can at a lot of companies. I cannot even comment on your appearance. Some woman sued because she was the only one in the office not getting complimented, and it made her feel inferior. That happened at a Wall Street firm, and she won.
Oh my
so
God.
we can't comment on you there. We can't talk about it. We can't and I'm not, can't is probably a strong word, but there's a big percentage of the women in this country, younger usually, the women over 40 love it. Not to lump you all too.
Of course.
Not to lump, but 40s and 50s, they love it. But some 24-year-old is like, I have a degree in this and I make this and whatever, that these guys are like, if I can't go with that, if I can't lead with that I find you attractive, which is we're animals sniffing each other in the zoo anyway, I can't find with that. And the women don't have this problem because they rarely lead with that. And there's almost no circumstance where a guy would not accept that gratefully. You know?
It's true. I don't think women compliment men enough. I think there is some insecurity, which, I mean, would make sense why they're so discouraged. Men do. They go out of their way to try to talk to women at all. Yeah. And women get creeped out.
But Brian, is it just complimenting or is it a type of compliment? Like,
well, we're going to get into that. So it's a how, where, what, when. So I think a daytime compliment should go farther than a nighttime compliment.
Mm-hmm.
Is that
agreed?
Is that reasonable to say?
And time of night.
If I compliment you before noon, I think that you should be fine with that. Mm-hmm. Okay? If I compliment you at 1 a.m., maybe a different connotation, although you might look fantastic after my fourth martini. You might look great. There's the when, there's the how, which guys think it sounds fairly PG-13 when they said it, but you sometimes hear it as like, oh, baby. He's just like, that's, if you hear like, that skirt looks great on you, anything about skirt is sex to you, right?
Yeah.
When it really could be about style.
Is it gay?
Not maybe. Why the gay guys get a pass?
I was going to say, we take that.
I love when a gay man
better.
compliments me. Absolutely.
But yeah.
So if I said
like no.
You look great, not hot, you look great in that skirt. No. Can't say skirt.
No. No. That's very specific.
You look great
I know exactly
in that
what you're
top.
looking at.
Well, what about top?
Why can't you just say outfit? You look great in that outfit. That does not sound.
That's
to
what
me.
I mean.
Well, maybe the outfit's not good. Maybe the top's good or the bottom's good. Maybe we're picking one. And shoes and stuff, then it is the gay guy. But if I'm just saying that shirt, whoa, you're like, he's looking at my boobs.
Yes. Yeah, 100%.
Unless it's a turtleneck.
But if you're wearing a shirt that accentuates
I don't know.
your boobs, can I not look?
I think you can look. I think just like coming out and saying it, it'd be like, you look great in those gray sweatpants. I think we all know what we're talking about.
No, gray sweat.
Like
I know.
man,
You would
man.
see. You would think that's a lie. What if you did look great? See, Lululemon has changed things. So you're
She's
in
talking
casual.
about us saying it to a
For
man.
men.
Right. If I said you look great in those gray sweatpants, maybe you do look great in those gray sweatpants.
But for a woman to say that to a man, we know exactly what I'm looking at, right? It's the same thing in reverse. I'm like, whoa.
What? Well,
Walking around in those
I think
sweats.
See, I don't think that's necessarily true. I think that what we're doing is acknowledging there's a baseline, a default appearance, and you are exceeding that. Whether you're exceeding your own default or you're exceeding the default of all of the other women within my vicinity, you look better. That is not necessary. It means I noticed you. I liked what I noticed. I don't think any of that has to be either sexual or putting down any other aspect of your life. I respect your PhD, and I understand that you're probably the boss of 200 people, but you also look fucking great. And I don't like that we've taken away the fucking great. And a lot of the guys are so frustrated with this that even when they get picked, they go to meet a date for the first time, and they could gasp at how good that they look. And it's almost like the bigger the reaction in terms of holy fucking shit, good for you, Brian Howie, which is something I would say. The woman be like, you saw my pictures. Why is he so amazed by? Clearly, I'm good. Like what? I don't know.
Even women who do get complimented too much, it's like great. Like who cares?
It's not. I know, but you're like it's great because you're life on a Greek island. And you're Southern, and it is different still in the South.
Yeah.
Southern women do still accept the compliment. They embrace it. They probably on some degree like it. You say the same thing to a woman in Philly or Boston or New York or San Francisco that you say to a woman in Charlotte or Nashville or Atlanta, and the reaction is wildly different. And he can't judge in a moment where you're from or where you're raised or what you do or anything. So if he just says, and you don't want something that makes you seem like fine china, like certain words like lovely are a little asexual. They're a little too, your hair is radiant, your smile is luminous, all those things. They're all nice, but it's like, ugh. That's not it either. So how do we tell the guys